Hey everyone, so I've just moved to Toronto, Canada, and one of the first things on my mind is to get a driver's license. Now, here in downtown Toronto, you don't really need a car as such because the public transportation system is pretty good, and the TTC, the streetcar, the subway, and the buses are pretty reliable and do a good job of getting you almost anywhere in the city. One of the main reasons I'm getting one is because I want an official ID document that I can carry with me everywhere that is not my PR card or my passport. And when I do decide to buy a car, I would have held my license for a longer duration, which would mean cheaper insurance, which is a win-win situation. I do have an Indian driver's license as well, and I've carried that with me along with an extract of my driver's license from my RTO, so I can transfer the experience I have in India to my Canadian driver's license. This should enable me to give the entire process or the entire testing process a lot faster, which I'm going to be talking about in a short while. The absolute first step is to give a G1 written test. The written test is divided into two parts, a road rules test and a road science test. Each section has 20 questions each, and you need 16 in each of them to pass. Also, it's been raining all day outside today and there is barely any visibility. I'm also linking the Ontario Drivers Handbook below, which you need in case you are studying for the G1 test. It has everything you need for the test, and I'm told there's this app called G1 Genie which I'm going to be downloading. I'm told it's got everything you need for the driver's test. Okay, so some of the early challenges I'm noticing is learning the demerit point system and when do you get how many demerit points. Basically, when you get 6, 5, 4 and 3 and 2 different demerit points, learning those is a bit tricky. And some of the road signs here are different than from back home. More like you have a wider array of road signs here than back home. So learning those might be a bit tricky as well. I have my exam tomorrow, so now I'm going to be going and studying for it, and I'll see you guys tomorrow for the exam. Okay, so it's the next day. I studied pretty late last night. I'm on my way to Service Ontario, and as you see, it's a rainy day today. Feeling a bit nervous, and let's see how it goes. I'm going to give you an update after the test now. So I'm practicing one last time before I enter. Let's see. So I just gave my last practice test and I got all the answers correct. Hopefully that's the case when I enter the exam as well. So I just got my appointment receipt and need to wait about 15 minutes. Alright guys, so I just gave my G1 test and I passed with flying colors. I got full marks, that's 20 of 20 in both tests, that's road rules as well as road science test. The test was fairly easy. I have a couple of feedback pointers that I'm going to be telling you in a short bit, but first, let's grab something to eat. Alright, so I'm back from giving my G1 test, and here are a couple of things that happened once I entered Service Ontario. After entering Service Ontario, I had to basically take a token and wait for about 5 minutes. After waiting for about 5 minutes, the number on the token flashed on the screen and I had to go to a specific counter. After going to the counter, the person at the counter asked me for my documents. So that's when I gave them my driving license extract, my PR card and my passport. Now, for you might not have driving experience back home, so it's okay to not provide with your driving license. After the person saw my documents and verified them, one of the things they asked me was about the stamp being on the driver's license extract, which was there, so I pointed it out. So ensure that if you're getting a driver's license extract, that you have it stamped from your RTO back home from where you're getting it. At this point, the eye examination part of the test started and they asked me to look into a machine. The machine had specific numbers inside it, so I read those numbers out. It has 6 numbers if I remember correctly. They then asked me to tell the side at which there were flashing lights. So the machine was such that you had to look into it, and after that they had flashing lights in different parts of the machine. So if it was on the right side, you were supposed to say right, and if it was on the left side, you were supposed to say left. After that, they said, okay, you've passed your eye test. Now you can go to a different room to give your driving license test. They also gave me a form and basically asked me to do 6 things: answer 4 questions, provide my phone number, and sign and date at the bottom of the form. The 4 questions that they asked on the form are basically, the first one is that if a physician has prescribed glasses to me. The second one is that has a doctor ever diagnosed me with any medical condition that might prevent me from driving. The third one is if I've held an Ontario driver's license or a photo ID card in the past. And the fourth one is the number of years that I have held a driving license outside of Canada. After that, I entered the examination room and I gave my exam, which had 2 parts like I mentioned. You need to get 16 in each of them. So out of 20 questions, you need to get 16 right in each of the parts. So even though if you get 20 on 20 in one part and you get, let's say, 15 on 20 in the other, then you failed one of the parts of the exam. This happened right in front of me for one of the students where they were given 40 questions and they passed the road science test, but they failed the road rules test. So they were asked to go back outside, and if they would like to give it again, they can immediately give another try and give only the roads rule test then. So that was another learning for me, that if you fail one of the parts of the exam, you only need to prepare for that specific part and you only need to get that specific part. After that, they asked me to wait for a tiny bit and then they called my name and they provided me with a temporary G1 license, which is a piece of paper, and told me that the physical card would get delivered to my address in the next 3 to 6 weeks. Now let's talk about the licensing process here in Ontario. Once you pass, Once you pass your G1 knowledge test and your eye test, there are 2 additional learning levels that you need to clear called G2 and a full G. To pass the 2 levels, you need to complete 2 road tests, which is called graduated licensing. You have up to 5 years to finish the entire process, and in case you don't, you will need to start over. The first step is to pass the G1 test like I did today, after which you are then allowed to practice with an instructor. About 12 months later, you're allowed to give your G1 exit test, which gives you the G2 license basically. If you practice with a licensed instructor, then you can reduce the time from 12 months down to 8 months. Once you've passed your G1 exit test and you have your G2 license, you will have reduced driving restrictions now, which means you can now drive without a driving instructor. And in order to remove all of your restrictions, you will need to pass the G2 exit test and get a full G license, after which you will have no driving restrictions at all. The timeline between G2 and the full G test is again 12 months if I'm not wrong. So the total licensing process can take up to 20 months. Okay, so next up, let's talk about some of my key takeaways from this entire experience of giving the G1 exam. The most important thing to do for the exam is to study and prepare well. The steps that I followed are basically, first, I read the entire Ontario Drivers Handbook and highlighted anything that was numeric. To give you a few examples, the first was anything related to demerit points and how many you get for each offense. The second was anything related to distance, so I highlighted anything where any sort of distance was mentioned. So how far should you park from a fire hydrant was 3 meters and so on and so forth. The third was anything related to time frame, so for how long is your license suspended for the different offenses that you do. The second key takeaway is basically using the apps that are available to you. I used the G1 Genie app and completed it 100%. It has a cool feature where it tells you your passing probability if you gave your exam today, so I ensured that my passing probability on the app is 100%. It also has a good step-by-step process on making you go through the entire curriculum. And it also makes you practice the same questions multiple times, and there is a bookmark feature. So in case you get anything wrong, it automatically bookmarks it for you, and you also have the option to manually bookmark any question that you would like to come back to later. The third point is one of the things I realized as soon as I started giving my exam today, which was basically that the language used in the exam is different from the language used in the Ontario Drivers Handbook and on the apps. Now, it is not difficult by any means, but it is different. So don't expect anything that you've studied to be phrased in the exact same manner in the exam. It is super important to know the essence of the answers, so no matter how the question is phrased, you're able to answer it accurately. Again, it is not difficult by any means, but I do recommend you taking your time, since there is no time limit, and reading all of the options before you select the one you want to go with. The fourth one is a simple one. Booking the appointment in advance made it a lot easier for me. I reached there on time and was able to proceed for the appointment right away. Since I had a specific day and a time already booked, I knew I already had a deadline in my mind of when I need to finish preparing for the exam. And as soon as I reached there, I didn't have to wait for an hour or 2 hours feeling anxious of if I'm going to pass or not. I could just go ahead and give my exam then. Fifth and the last super important point is carrying all your documents with you. You need to carry your passport and your PR card to give the exam. And if you have your driver's license from your home country and a driving license extract, you should definitely get that added to your Canadian driver's license. That's going to speed up the entire process significantly. Today, after giving my G1 test, I was told that I can straight away give my full G exam, which was super exciting, which means that I don't need to wait for the 2 12-month periods. I can straight away skip the G1 exit exam, which would give me a G2, and straight away give the road test for a full G exam. Again, thank you very much for watching this video, and I hope this video was super helpful to you. If you have any further questions, please feel free to comment below, and I'm happy to answer all of them as long as I have the answers. But yeah, till then, I hope you guys keep smiling, and I'll see you guys in the next one.